Show with Stephen Colbert featuring me, Steve Colbert. Do you love television but hate the visuals? Do you wish you could get the freshest topical comedy one day later? Do you have one or more ears? If you answer yes to any of these questions, you're going to love our new podcast, The Late Show Pod Show with Stephen Colbert. Listen to The Late Show Pod Show with Stephen Colbert on Spotify, Bluefies, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's face it, the pandemic has forced so many of us to re-examine all parts of our lives. And the only one that I'm actually qualified to help you with is your personal finances. I'm Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst. I'm also a certified financial planner, and I'm psyched because I have a new podcast. It's called Eye on Money. I'm going to field your questions and help you get where you want to go. Follow CBS Audio's Eye on Money with me, Jill Schlesinger, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. President Biden's top COVID-19 advisor has tested positive for the virus. More from CBS's Steve Dorsey in Washington.
He's experiencing mild symptoms according to a statement from the National Institutes of Health. Fauci is fully vaccinated and double boosted. Officials say he hasn't been in recent close contact with President Biden.
Fauci was due to testify in person to a Senate committee tomorrow on the pandemic. A new study finds abortions in the U.S. increased between 2017 and 2020, reversing a decades-long trend. CBS's Linda Kenyon study from the Guttmacher Institute finds more than 930,000 abortions were performed in clinical settings in the U.S. in 2020. That's an 8% jump from 2017. In Illinois alone, abortions increased 25%, in part because of patients who traveled from neighboring states that had more restrictions on the procedure. The study comes in advance of a pivotal Supreme Court decision on abortion. You're listening to the CBS World News Roundup.
You can unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you can unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 8338-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. Wait, there are 21 calls about solution conditions.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job? Friends are spending money to help feed his little sisters? Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry from her Thanksgiving dinner? I am the one in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungeringAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The World Health Organization has scheduled an emergency meeting on the monkeypox outbreak to determine if the virus is an international health threat and exactly how it's spreading. CBS's Tina Krause in London.
The WHO is working with experts to come up with a new name for the virus after more than 30 international scientists complained the monkeypox label is discriminatory. The disease, which was first discovered in Africa in monkeys, causes a rash that can look like chickenpox.
It's a virus that originates in wild animals and occasionally jumps to people. Europe is the epicenter with 85% of the world's infections. The UN is warning that mass starvation looms in South Sudan. CBS's Vicki Barker reports.
The World Food Program is warning that a funding shortfall means it won't be able to feed a third of the 6.2 million people in South Sudan it plans to help this year. That means 1.7 million men, women, and children are facing starvation. Time on the roundup, 7 minutes past the hour.
It's 4:07 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS. We've warmed up a bit inland. Everybody cools down starting tomorrow. Good afternoon. I'm Patty Rising.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff Bell.
Just a hat on KCBS. San Jose honors the life of a trailblazing leader.
Our Wednesday traffic watch continues at this point. We check back with Kim in your local Honda dealers traffic center. You have your eye on Sunnyvale this time around.
Yes, a backup on eastbound 237, getting help from the KCBS phone force to pinpoint the location of this crash. Thanks to, I think it was Jeff who called. We're getting a lot of calls this afternoon. Great work. Anyway, the crash is at Great America Parkway, eastbound direction, right shoulder and door point. Cars there, so that's why it's bunching up. And let's see, we've got southbound 101 also backed up. Northbound 101 getting into San Mateo. We had a crash there since shortly after 2 o'clock, a car in a ditch.
So now they've got tow trucks there, and the two right lanes are blocked just before you get to Hillsdale. So that's slowing your ride as you approach the 92 interchange. And we've got some brake lights on the San Mateo Bridge. A crash at the moment. We've got the westbound lanes temporarily blocked, so all of them there, so they can move this crash out of the way on the decline. So that is slowing your ride into Foster City. But I see some slowing in the eastbound direction as well. No issues on the Dumbarton Bridge coming or going from Alameda County. Your next update, 418 on the traffic leader, KCBS. It did warm up inland, upper 80s to low 90s, cool down a tad near the coast and bay with that increasing sea breeze. Everybody starts to cool down tomorrow through Saturday. Partly cloudy skies, high 60s to low 70s near the bay, upper 60s to low to mid 70s inland. Traffic and weather together on KCBS. KCBS News Time 409. This portion of the News Watch is sponsored by Shane Company.
San Jose dignitaries gathered together this afternoon to honor Norman Mineta, the first person of color to be elected mayor in San Jose and the first Asian American to hold a U.S. cabinet position. As KCBS's Megan Goldsby reports, it was the beginning of several days of remembrance in his hometown.
Mineta, who died last month at the age of 90, was remembered as a man dedicated to public service, who loved his family, the city of San Jose, and remembers Mayor Sam Liccardo, a good joke.
Sort of a constituent coming into the office when Norm was mayor here, and the constituent said, I want to speak to the mayor, and I don't want to speak to anyone lower than the mayor. And Norm overheard this back in his office, and he yelled out, there is nobody lower than the mayor.
Former San Jose Supervisor Blanca Alvarado was in the same class at San Jose High School with Mineta, where he was elected class president.
You know, while Norm is renowned for the national and international accolades he has received, he remains simply our hero, our champion, and one of the least arrogant persons I have ever known.
Last week, there was a Washington, D.C. memorial service for the man who was both Secretary of Commerce under President Clinton and Transportation Secretary under President George W. Bush, along with being a Congress member for 20 years. His ashes were transported via motorcade from the airport that bears his name to San Jose City Hall, where they were placed in honor in the rotunda. Megan Goldsby, KCBS.
Jack Dorsey's company Block, formerly known as Square, is leaving its mid-market headquarters in San Francisco, another blow to an already struggling neighborhood. As KCBS's David Welch explains, local businesses expect to feel the loss.
The biggest challenge at Hillside businesses along this stretch of mid-market, a lack of office workers. Catherine Chow is the general manager at Kagoa Ya, an udon shop inside the same building as Block. She says the neighborhood has seen better times.
It's hard. I think Uber last year for Mission Bay, and then now Square's gone. So we kind of feel like, left behind.
Chow says it hasn't always been this way. Before the pandemic, on days when Block didn't offer free lunch, business was brisk.
Didn't have cafeterias on Fridays, so it would just be booming, right, on Fridays. So it's been a while since those days.
Now she worries with Block moving out, the neighborhood will suffer even more.
There's going to be less foot traffic, and it's going to make the area seem less activated.
And she says Block leaving is another in a long list of challenges for small businesses here.
Inflation, rising food costs, everything's snowballing into this one big, demon. And it's been difficult.
In San Francisco, David Welch, KCBS.
San Francisco's newest supervisor is pushing for police to crack down on dealers around drug treatment centers, saying that he wants to give those seeking recovery the best chance for treatment without so many triggers. The Chronicle reports that Matt Dorsey's plan would create drug enforcement priority zones where police would confiscate drugs and paraphernalia from users even if they are not being cited and immediately arrest anyone selling drugs. The effort is part of a larger Right to Recovery initiative aiming to address the fentanyl crisis in Dorsey's district.
A sting operation by San Mateo police uncovered a whole trove of various illegal merchandise this week, including fireworks, marijuana, psychedelic mushrooms, and a loaded ghost gun. When they had gotten word that someone was selling fireworks in the county, where all types are illegal, an officer contacted the suspect and acted as someone who wanted to buy some.
Sad too. What was the plaque right there? I can kind of